Emotional trauma is a profound wound. It's not a cut you can see on your skin. It's an injury to your heart, your mind, your spirit. It lives deep inside. Often it's invisible to the outside world. People might not understand what you carry, but you feel its weight every single day. This hidden pain shapes how we view ourselves. It colors our interactions and our experiences of the world. It can feel like a constant, unwelcome shadow. We need to have the courage to talk about it. The invisibility of emotional trauma can be a heavy burden. Others might dismiss your pain. They might say things like, "Just get over it," or "It wasn't that bad." They don't see the internal landscape of your hurt. They cannot grasp its depth or its persistence. This lack of understanding, this invalidation often adds another layer of suffering. It can make us feel incredibly alone in our struggles. It might even make us question our own sanity, our own reality. But please hear this, your pain is real, your experiences matter profoundly. It's so important to remember this. Emotional trauma is not a sign of weakness, it is not a character flaw. Instead, it's a sign that you have faced something overwhelming, something that pushed your coping mechanisms beyond their limits. It's a testament to what you have endured and survived. It shows that you found ways to protect yourself, ways to keep going in the face of immense difficulty. Understanding this simple truth is a crucial first step. It takes immense courage to turn towards these wounds. It is an act of bravery to acknowledge them. So, where does this trauma come from? Common sources are sadly varied. They can be those big, obvious, shattering events. We call these big T traumas. Things like physical, emotional, or sexual abuse leave deep, lasting marks. Neglect, especially during childhood, is incredibly damaging. Witnessing violence, even if not directed at you, can also scar deeply. Living in constant fear or pervasive instability erodes our sense of safety. Even experiences like persistent bullying, profound grief, or sudden loss can be deeply traumatic for many. These experiences leave imprints on our souls. How does emotional trauma actually show up in our lives? It's a unique journey for each person, truly. But there are common threads, common patterns we can recognize. For some, it might manifest as an anxiety that hums constantly beneath the surface, a feeling of dread that never quite lifts. For others, it can look like a persistent sadness, a heavy blanket of despair that muffles joy. Some people might experience a profound numbness, a disconnection from their own feelings or even from the world around them. This is often a protective shield that has long outstayed its welcome. We build these walls to survive. Behaviorally, the manifestations of trauma can be confusing, both to the person experiencing them and to those around them. We might see sudden, explosive anger over seemingly small things, or perhaps a deep, pervasive need to control everything and everyone. Avoidance becomes a common strategy, steering clear of anything that feels remotely risky or triggers old memories. People-pleasing can also be a significant sign. An attempt to earn safety and acceptance. Trust often becomes a major casualty, making it incredibly difficult to let people in, to build genuine connections. These are not character defects, they are echoes of past pain. They are survival strategies learned in difficult times. Relationships, which should be sources of comfort and joy, can become incredibly challenging. Emotional trauma can instill a deep fear of intimacy, a fear of being vulnerable and then getting hurt again. Conversely, it can sometimes lead to clinging too tightly in relationships, desperate for a security that feels elusive. We might find ourselves replaying old painful patterns, unconsciously choosing partners or friends who mirror past hurts. Or we might push people away consistently, sabotaging connections before we risk being abandoned or betrayed. It's so hard to build healthy, stable bonds when our internal foundation feels shaky from past storms. We deeply crave connection, yet simultaneously fear its potential pain. Let's consider an example. Imagine a young child growing up in a home where there is no consistent emotional safety. Their feelings are regularly dismissed, ignored, or even punished. When they cry, they are told to toughen up. When they are scared, they are shamed. They quickly learn that their emotions are not welcome, that their inner world is somehow wrong or bad. They learn not to trust their own feelings. This child might become exceptionally quiet and compliant, or they might act out constantly, desperately seeking any form of attention, even negative attention. This child learns that love is conditional, unpredictable, or perhaps even dangerous. They carry this painful unspoken lesson into their adult life. The long-term effects of these early wounds on adults are significant and far-reaching. That child who grew up feeling emotionally unsafe, they become an adult who may carry a persistent, nagging struggle with self-worth. They might harbor a deep-seated belief that they are somehow not good enough, not deserving of love or happiness. Deep within, they still carry that old, painful message from childhood, the message that their needs, their feelings, don't truly matter. This can lead to a lifetime of seeking external validation, or it can manifest as imposter syndrome, always feeling like a fraud, just waiting to be found out by others. Adults grappling with unresolved emotional trauma often battle chronic stress. Their nervous systems might remain on high alert. Their bodies braced for danger, years or even decades after the actual threat has passed. This constant state of internal alarm can lead to a cascade of physical health problems. We might see chronic headaches, persistent digestive issues, or a noticeably weakened immune system. The mind and body are intricately connected. What wounds the spirit very often inflicts damage upon the body as well. We truly carry the score of our experiences within our physical selves, in our very cells. It's a heavy burden to bear. Mental health challenges are, understandably, very common among adult survivors of trauma. Conditions like depression, various anxiety disorders, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, are not just clinical labels. They represent profound and genuine human suffering. Addiction, in its many forms, can also emerge as a coping mechanism, an attempt to numb the relentless pain, a way to temporarily escape the intrusive memories or the overwhelming, unbearable feelings. It's a fleeting solution for a very deep and persistent wound. It's vital to view these behaviors not as failures, but as desperate attempts to manage excruciating emotional pain and survive. Difficulty with emotional regulation is another key, long-lasting impact. This means struggling to manage strong, intense feelings effectively. Emotions might feel overwhelmingly large, too powerful, too scary to handle. As a result, we might try to shut them down completely, becoming emotionally numb or detached. Or conversely, emotions might erupt in ways that are destructive, harming ourselves or our relationships with others. Learning to feel our feelings safely without being overwhelmed by them, that is a significant and courageous part of the healing journey. It's a process of relearning trust in ourselves and in our capacity to navigate our emotional landscapes. But here is the fundamental, unwavering truth. Healing from emotional trauma is absolutely possible. It truly, deeply is. This journey requires immense courage. It demands persistent effort and a willingness to show up for ourselves, even when it feels incredibly hard, especially when it feels hard. The path to healing is rarely a straight line. There will inevitably be setbacks, detours, and challenging days. But every single step forward, no matter how small it seems, is a victory. Hope is not merely a passive wish or a fleeting feeling, it is an active, engaged practice of belief and action. Healing often begins with the courageous act of acknowledging the pain, of naming it clearly, of understanding its origins and its impact on our lives. This is where the profound power of emotional validation comes into play. Having someone, a therapist, a trusted friend, a support group, truly hear your story, believe your experience, without judgment, without trying to fix it, without minimizing it. This simple act of being seen and believed can be incredibly transformative. It sends a powerful message. Your story matters. Your feelings are valid. This is a potent antidote to the shame and secrecy in which trauma often thrives. We need to be seen. Finding safe spaces and connecting with safe people is absolutely key to this process. This might mean seeking out a qualified therapist who specializes in trauma. It could involve joining a support group with others who share similar experiences. Or it might be about nurturing connections with trusted friends and family members. People who can hold space for our vulnerability without flinching. who don't try to rush our process or offer unsolicited advice, but who simply walk alongside us with compassion and understanding. Connection is the true currency of healing. We were often wounded in relationships, or the absence of them. We heal in genuine, authentic relationships. Ultimately, healing means courageously reclaiming our own stories, owning all the multifaceted parts of ourselves, the parts that feel broken and bruised, the parts that are astonishingly resilient, the parts that are still learning and growing. It means diligently cultivating self-compassion, learning to treat ourselves with the same unwavering kindness, patience, and understanding that we would readily offer to a dear friend in pain. It's about daring greatly to move towards wholehearted living, a life where we embrace our vulnerability as a strength, and where we know deep in our bones that we are worthy of love, belonging, and unadulterated joy. This is not a privilege, this is our birthright.